Hello and welcome to a new series on the DoneDeal channel where we are going to be giving you as much consumer advice and genuine independent reviews of all sorts of cars on the market. I'm David OC, I'm going to be your man on the ground on the YouTube channel. Feel free to engage in the comments, ask any questions you might have, and I'll do my very best to help you get into your next car. The first car on our agenda is none other than the trusty steed, the Škoda Octavia. Chances are you probably have a friend who has one, and if not, you've definitely sat into one, as literally every taxi in the whole of Ireland is a Škoda Octavia. 4 o'clock, N11 road right now. That's actually a Superb, but you're gonna get the gist of it. That's number one. Number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So taxi drivers love them, and they're right to, because the Škoda Octavia is an impeccably amazing car. It's so reliable. There's so many available online. You can actually, I think there's 1,100 available. So you're spoilt for choice. Then, as well as that, the diesel engines are very economical. But today, we are reviewing the mothership of all Škoda Octavias. We're reviewing the RS 230 brake horsepower. It's got a 2-litre engine under the bonnet. It's actually, this car is a Golf GTI with this kind of saloon body. It's, in my opinion, the car you convince your wife that it's practical. The kids will fit in it, but little does she know, there is an absolute beast of an engine under the bonnet. Before we get into what this car handles like, what it feels like on the road, the power output, the fun stuff that you really want to know about, I think it's worth mentioning what it looks like, because the exterior is actually beautiful, especially when you compare it to that normal Octavia. It is littered with RS badges. It's got them on the doors, it's got them on the steering wheel, it's all over the place. It's got the blacked out grille, the blacked out wing mirrors. It has the quad tip exhaust, giving it that stance. And then it has this thing, which, to be honest, I don't know why this is there. This is a spoiler. The theory behind spoilers is it gives the car extra traction on the back wheels to give it more grip. But this is a front wheel drive car, so it doesn't really make sense. Skoda, you're not alone on that, so I'm not going to judge you, just pointing out this little kind of fact. Anyway, let's take a look inside and then we'll take it for a spin. So when you sit inside this car, all I'll say is whoa. It's so surprisingly nice. You've got this really nice sized steering wheel with the flat bottom, which is kind of all the rage at the moment. You add in the RS badge there, the RS badge there, and then of course these absolutely incredibly beautiful seats that feel and hug you so nicely. It really sets off this car. Then as far as toys for the boys go, or toys for the women, you've got loads going on here. You're not left shy of anything. You've got heated seats both in the front and in the back. Obviously those seats are electric, so you can move backwards and you can move forwards. Your steering wheel has loads of play, so you can get that comfy position, no problem. And in fact, if you're sharing this car with someone else, it's got memory settings down there. So you can click in, say 1, that's Dave's position, then whatever, someone else can come, click 2. That's a nice feature. Then you've got obviously the Apple CarPlay on this touchscreen here, which still has the buttons, which in my opinion is massive, because in the newer screens, I think it's a 9-inch and it doesn't have any of the buttons, only for the volume and obviously the temperature. And that kind of, I don't know, I just don't like this whole touchscreen thing. Maybe I'm old school, but I am a millennial. Then if we move into the back of the car, you're going to see some really nice features. You've got plenty of ISOFIX points for the kids seats, or the child seats as they're called. And of course, it is the taxi man's car. So you've got many, many, many headroom. And I am a tall individual, as well as loads of knee room. So really, you can travel in comfort and luxury. And also, actually, to be honest, this is the first time I sat in the back seat. The look of that RS seat, it's kind of cool. When it comes to driving the RS, around town in eco mode, it's very nice to drive. It's got a really easy gearbox to change gear. The clutch is very light. And of course, the suspension's fairly smooth. They have made it a little bit more stiff in this model, obviously to improve handling, but it still is fairly generous when you go over speed bumps and the likes. Then you click this button here and you click sport mode. And that is when you open up the car to this whole new level of machine. It's when you can chuck it into corners, you can hear the noise of it. In fact, I'm going to insert a clip without a microphone so you can hear what it actually sounds like. Pretty crazy, and that is kind of a controversial thing because effectively what they're doing is that noise is being put through the speakers. Personally, I'm not a fan. I actually drove a diesel TT that put a petrol engine noise into the car. That was kind of weird. I want to speak about one thing that's extremely clever on this car and that I do admire, because naturally with 230 horsepower, it's no joke, there is plenty of poke, but it's to the front wheels, which is a questionable amount of power. Volkswagen have done a very good job, as have Skoda, of handling that power. Particularly through corners, you experience less understeer. The reason being is they have this smart differential, where effectively that front wheel on the left-hand side on a left-hand corner will brake a little bit to really hug the bend. And that is something that I think really needed to happen and makes a front-wheel drive one of these acceptable to own. Personally, if it's possible, they're hard to find, get a four-wheel drive one, because then you're basically driving a Golf R, which is insane. And that's something we'll talk about in a minute when we get onto the pricings. But for now, let's just enjoy this absolutely gorgeous country road and put her in RS mode around the bend. Oh, it's so nice. The camera's jerking around there. It's so good. It's actually amazing. And the big brakes just slow it right down. For fun, for smiles, many smiles per gallon, I'll say that. So the question everyone wants to know, how much is the Škoda Octavia RS? Well, this particular model is a 2016 version. It's got 12,000 kilometers on the clock and it checks in at 28,950 euros. Now, naturally, you or I, we don't really have nearly 29,000 euros. So I took the liberty of applying for PCP on this car. So with a 30% down payment, which adds up to 8,685 euros, I can pay just a small 352 euros a month to have this car over a 3-year period. Now my mileage is capped at 20,000 kilometers a year, and obviously the car has to come back in the same shape that I got it. But that is a very affordable price, and that's kind of the whole concept of PCP. At the end of the year then, or at the end of the term, of the contract, you are left with 3 options. Number 1, give them back the car. Number 2, you can quite simply upgrade to a new one and probably pay nearly the exact same rate, or you can continue to pay off the car or buy it outright. So that's kind of the whole PCP thing. It's become very popular. I believe that over 80% of brand new Skodas are nearly sold on PCP or some sort of financing. According to a recent DoneDeal Motor Industry review, the Škoda Octavia actually holds its value better than any other car on the market. And that's where buying a pre-owned one becomes extremely interesting. Obviously buying a new one, it makes sense. They're going to hold their value. But when you buy a pre-owned one, this one's held its value so well that it is no longer a competitor against the Golf GTI, but actually it's kind of touching Golf R territory. When you get into the Golf R, you've got 4-wheel drive. You've got an extra 70 brake horsepower. Yes, the mileage will not be as low as this, but it's definitely something to consider. Before we conclude this video, I want to talk about 3 things I love and 3 things I hate about the Škoda Octavia RS. First of all, it has an enormous boot, 590 litres, which makes it more than any other car in its class and really separates it from everything. Number 2, it's got these 19-inch alloys with these big old red brakes, giving it a nice, mean look. Mind you, it's going to be hard to clean those wheels because there's a lot of different spokes. And number 3, I've said it before, but these seats are the most aesthetically pleasing seats I think I've seen in a car in a long time. 3 things I don't like about the RS. The lights. For some reason they're fogging up. Number 2, when you fold the seats down, they don't lie completely flat, which it's not a big deal, but it's just a little bit annoying. Number 3, it's front wheel drive. I just wish it was not front wheel drive. In conclusion, this Skoda is superb. It's an Octavia, but it is superb. And jokes aside, honestly, this car is phenomenal. You are guaranteed to have a lot of fun. You're going to have a lot of laughs driving this. It's still going to be practical and it's still going to be daily drivable. The thing I will say though is do look at the rest of the market, because you are in GTI territory, you are in Golf R territory, and it's a tempting alternative option. Another one that I haven't actually brought up is the 2-litre diesel version of this. It, I think, puts out 170 or 180 brake horsepower, but it's diesel, it's got that extra torque, it's going to be more economical, and it's definitely one that I would look into, particularly with the automatic DSG gearbox, as that gearbox is incredible. I'd actually recommend it in one of these as well. All in all, I hope this review has been helpful and I hope it's been insightful. Make sure to click the link below, see what kind of Škoda Octavias are available. As I said, we have over 1,100, so you have so much choice to make sure that you get into the right car. If you have any experience with the Škoda Octavia or any questions, please comment below. We want as much information. We want to be a friendly, happy, engaging place. So definitely get involved in the comments and we will be sure to get back to you. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel and we'll see you in the next video.